Okay, we're on a nice little slough here. This is on a private farm that I have permission to trap, and we've got some beaver problems here. The place is also loaded with muskrats. I pull the occasional otter out of here, which is nice. And just got off the phone with the farmer, and he's got coons killing his chickens, so we've got a full day here. But anyway, you can see this little slough wraps on around. There's a little crossing here, and fortunately that has a hard bottom in it. But you can see there's a beaver dam right there. And it's not a big one, but it's enough to cause problems. Right in here. And you can see this little ditch goes on down, and there is dam after dam after dam after dam in this little ditch. And this is a grade A location. Last year I came in one morning and I put 4 snares, one on each dam on a crossover, and the next morning I had 4 beavers, one in each snare. Here's a little bit better view of the dam. Now I'm going to put my kayak in, and because that water gets very deep, and I'm going to circle all the way around. And there's my truck, and you can see I'm pretty well loaded down. I've got my boat, I've got my snares, I've got conibears and footholds. So I'm going to spend a few hours setting this farm up today, and we'll see what we get. Okay, I'm a little farther up the slough, and right around this bend you can see we're backing up to another farmer's property on the right, and there's a pretty large beaver dam right ahead. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Basically, the bottom here is solid brick. They've been dumping bricks all in here. So there was no way to put a stand or a stick in the bottom to get the trap to stand up. So basically, the only thing holding that trap up is the bricks, and it's actually pretty solid. I think it'll work. I've smeared some flat tail caul under the bottom of that branch that's over the top of it, and hopefully when the beaver comes across that dam tonight, comes down through here, he'll go right through my trap and be caught. We'll see. Okay, I'm a little bit farther down from the dam. Excuse me, I've had a cough that I can't get rid of. But here's their little channel. Hopefully you can see that. It's very faint, but that's where they're coming through these leaves right here. And I'm simply going to stick a conibear right here. Now a lot of people would make the mistake of sitting it right here, standing up out of the water, and that can work. But if your beaver knows what a conibear is, then you might have some trouble. he could very easily go around it if he doesn't like the sight of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it farther down in the deep water and put a dive stick over it and submerge it, and hopefully that'll up our chances a little bit. But this is a stabilizer, and it is a piece of rebar with a conibear holder welded on the top of it. This makes it very simple to make a set like this. Good thing I had the safeties on, huh? Now you see why I like my Belials. That's all there is to it. Okay, here we've got a nice little set, and you can set this up a number of ways. I'm going to put 2 traps here. You can see this is a giant piece of concrete, piece of steel sticking out, and it forms a perfect little neck down area. So I'm going to put a body grip there. You can also see that this is a bank den up in here, and I don't know if this is, well, yeah, there's fresh sign right there. You can see the beavers are using that. So I'm probably going to put a 330 in front of the bank den, and probably a 220 under that piece of metal there. Okay, now that I'm out of the boat, I think a 280 is going to fit a little bit better in here. This is a Belial 280. It's a very, very nice trap. It's got a lot better safety system on it, a lot better dog and trigger system. And you saw earlier how much trouble that other trap gave me. I think you'll see this one is going to be a lot better to work with. There you go. There we go. You see I've got the trap wired to the support right there. Now I'm going to bend these springs down. Notice how those safeties stay put. They don't flop around. That's important. Trust me. So we're going to bend that down. Alrighty. You can see how the safeties flop around. They could easily get caught up in your trap or reset. That's not what we want. We don't want that at all. Notice I'm mixing the mud with the leaves That'll help it stick a little bit better. Break up that outline a little bit. All right. There. Now we're going to try some of this. There. Interesting. Alrighty. That is set up pretty good right there. We'll see if it works. You could also set this with snares just as easily. And if you have trap shy beavers that knew what a conibear looks like, that's what I would use. But I've got the conibears and I need to use them. They're not going to catch anything sitting on the shelf, that's for sure. So we'll see how it goes. We'll check it in the morning. Okay, well, I was putting out traps at the other place. A fella rode up on a four-wheeler on a buggy, older man, and asked me what I was doing. Told him I was trapping beavers, and lo and behold, he lives up the creek a ways, and he has beaver problems. And he asked me to come by his place and put out some traps. So here it is. This is a little beaver swamp behind his barn, and you can see there's quite a nice dam there. This area is interesting. There's not a lot of channels, not a lot of features. That dam has been there a long time, and so this is just a backed up slough, not a lot of pinch points. So I walked the area and I put out a couple of snare sets. This is a great snare set here. I have a lot of luck with this, and basically what I've done is I've put a snare in, number 9 support wire as a support. I've cabled it off to that tree. If you'll notice, that tree has been chewed on. It's very important when you cable off to cable low, cable right down to the ground, because I've actually had the beavers chew the tree down that they were cabled to, but since I cabled low, they were still caught the next morning. And you can see he's been chewing on that tree, but my cable is below that. And basically there's my snare, and you'll notice there's a piece of river cane that I've added. And what I've done is I've squirted some liquid enrager on the vertical structure to the left on the tree and let it dribble down that river cane. And the idea is the beaver will swim around trying to locate the smell, and he'll swim through the snare and get caught. Now let's go over this way. And this is treacherous footing, so I hope I don't slip and drop the camera in the water. The beavers have been working this area. They've got trails up and down where they've been feeding. This was a particularly fresh trail, had good sign in it. So I put a body grip in it. Hope you can see that. It's fairly well camouflaged. If you'll notice, I've covered the bottom jaws completely with mud. Covered the eyes with mud. And put some sticks over the springs. Cover the top up good. I also used some liquid enrager and squirted it up and down the trail. Next sets are right over here, and these are some deep water snare sets. That's one of my 3/8 inch fiberglass poles. It's simply stuck down in the mud, and the snare is attached to it, and it's supported by a 14 gauge support wire, and that's it. Very quick, very simple, and hopefully you can see the other one at the other end of the channel. This is one of the few channels that I could find. So I've got a snare at the front, a snare at the other end. The beauty of those poles is that as the beaver is caught, He's always pulling down so he doesn't pump your stake. And hopefully he'll wrap up and drown. We'll find out in the morning. Hopefully we'll catch something.